Josh Allen right now, people want to claim him as a favorite to win the MVP right now. He had a great performance against the Rams, put up a historic day for a quarterback. 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. But Lamar Jackson, his numbers are still better. Lamar Jackson should be the favorite to win his 3rd MVP. And it's not crazy to say the run he could go on these next 4 games. He has the Giants, a big game against Pittsburgh, the Texans, and then Cleveland. If he has big numbers against those 4 teams and he finishes the year, let's say 4,000 yards passing, that's what he's on pace for right now, and he has 678 yards rushing right now. If he finishes with 900 yards rushing, 4,000 yards passing, yeah, you got to give him MVP. And these 4 games are very winnable for the Baltimore Ravens. They can catch up to Cleveland. They can win that division. So if he wins the AFC North division with 4,000 yards passing, 900 yards rushing, if he has 1,000 yards rushing, it's 4 games left. Who knows? Anything can happen. I think 900 to 1,000 gives him the MVP, I think, with winning the division too. So the Giants, I expect him to put up like crazy numbers, 4 passing touchdowns, maybe somewhere around 50 yards rushing. So if he plays to the level he was playing before that little 3 couple game skid, because this Giants team, they look like they've given up on the season. Dexter Lawrence, one of their best players, is out. They're down to Tommy Cutlets at quarterback. So that team is giving up. So we could very well see Lamar Jackson go in there and take their hearts out early. 4 passing touchdowns maybe. Like I said, 50 yards rushing, a big performance in that. And in Pittsburgh, a huge statement game. That will be a game that decides whether or not he wins MVP. If he balls out against Pittsburgh and he beats them, give him MVP. Lamar Jackson this season already close to 3,300 yards passing, 253 yards average passing a game, and 29 passing touchdowns, more than Josh Allen. Josh Allen and him are combined with total touchdowns because Josh Allen has a lot of rushing touchdowns, but 116.3 passer rating for the season in total. The completion percentage, 67 right now. He's having an efficient ass year, only 3 interceptions, and those 3 interceptions were fluky ass interceptions. The one against the Raiders, a lot of jumbled passes that end up in the defender's hands. So not interceptions where he's just throwing it right to the defender. 678 yards rushing, like I said, on the season. So more than Josh Allen. So all of his numbers are better than Josh Allen, except for the total touchdowns. That's where they are combined together. Together, and the rushing touchdowns Josh Allen has a nod. But we have maybe the greatest running quarterback of all time actually, changing the game with his passing production and leading a lot of categories in the NFL with passing, not rushing. Lamar Jackson was on his bye week, so he's 7th in passing yards right now. And in passing touchdowns, he's 2nd behind Joe Burrow, and we see what Joe Burrow does. That defense is god-awful, so he's just putting up numbers, putting up a clinic just to compete, just to have a shot to win a game. But Lamar Jackson outdueled Joe Burrow twice. If you want to look at MVP level performances, Lamar Jackson has had more MVP level performances than Josh Allen this year. The Tampa Bay Bucks game, 5 passing touchdowns, put on a clinic. He had 5 incompletions that game, I believe. His 2 performances against the Bengals, 4 touchdowns in both of those games. The game against Denver, 3 touchdowns. He sliced and diced one of the best defenses in the NFL. That was when they had Riley Moss too. Riley Moss played in that game, unless you want to say Jameis Winston diced him up too. And his performance against Kansas City, where he had 273 yards passing and 122 yards rushing. Just crazy numbers he's been putting up all year. Historic season for him. He already won 2 MVPs, but this MVP season he's having this year exceeds those numbers and that production. Maybe the rushing yards won't be as much. I mean, he had 36 passing touchdowns and 1,000 yards rushing that one season, his first MVP, but I think still 4,000 yards passing, maybe around 40 touchdowns passing and 900 yards rushing. That's a historic season. That's a season that will put him, he's already right now top 10 quarterback of all time. I think if he has playoff success too, if he, gets a Super Bowl this year, maybe next year, you put him in top 6. I would put him above a guy like Drew Brees, other guys that have a Super Bowl but don't have the MVP numbers and didn't change the game like Lamar Jackson did. Michael Vick was a great running quarterback. Randall Cunningham was a great running quarterback. But you look at 4 quarterbacks having 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and Lamar Jackson did that twice. The other one, Justin Fields and Michael Vick. So he's changing the game completely. He's top 10 quarterback of all time. argue with whoever you want to argue with. And this season will continue to add to his accolades and help him be one of the greats. Finishing maybe top 5, who knows? But Josh Allen, the season he's having a great year. I know people want to give him the MVP. His team's winning, but he had that amazing game, 6 total touchdowns, but it ended in a loss, unfortunately. So they got Detroit this week, so they could have 4 losses. So the win-loss ratio isn't that much different if Baltimore finishes with 5 losses and still win their division. So that argument really isn't a factor either. They beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have been playing like they've been beatable all year. And that was a great game, huge performance. I think that was an MVP level performance for Josh Allen. Also, the performance against the Rams ended in a loss, like I said, but he only had 2 MVP level performances this year, 2 Lamar Jackson's 3 or 4. So I think Lamar Jackson should still be in the driver's seat for MVP. And if he goes on the run that I think he can go on, winning the division, 4,000 yards passing, close to 40 passing touchdowns, 900 yards rushing, give him his 3rd MVP. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.